Hello mga ka-psycho! I'm Randy Dellosa, the only Filipino who is a psychiatrist, clinical psychologist, and master psychotherapist all rolled into one. Today, let's talk about something na medyo super heavy, baka morbid sa iba sa inyo, pero super important. And this is the topic of the death penalty or yung parusang kamatayan. Alam nyo ba that this is just not a legal or political debate? It's a profound psychological one. And as a psychiatrist and psychologist, I'm here to tell you from a mental health perspective why we should strongly reject it. So, ano nga ba ang death penalty? In simple terms, it's when the government kills someone legally as punishment for a serious crime like murder or drug trafficking. Parang you did something terrible, so we'll do something terrible to you too. Sa Pilipinas, the death penalty has had a roller coaster history of abolishing it, reinstating it, then abolishing it again. Spanish era, we had the garrote. American period, we had the electric chair. President Marcos Sr. used the death penalty extensively during martial law. Under President Cory Aquino naman, the 1987 Constitution restricted it. Pero it was brought back in 1993 under President Ramos dahil raw sa crime wave. In fact, during his time, 7 people were killed by lethal injection, including Leo Echegaray in 1999. And again, the death penalty was abolished in 2006 by President Arroyo. But here's a fact that might surprise you. Despite having the death penalty for many years, crime rates did not significantly drop when the Philippines had the death penalty. Right now, wala tayong death penalty, but some politicians are pushing to bring it back, especially for drug-related crimes. Many Filipinos support this idea. In fact, according to surveys, about 7 out of 10 Filipinos favor reinstating the death penalty, especially for heinous crimes. Pero alam nyo ba, in 2007, we signed the ICCPR Second Optional Protocol promising no death penalty. Now, fast forward, House Bill 11211 in 2025 is proposing firing squads for corrupt government officials. Now, let's debunk some myths kasi ang daming urban legends eh. Myth number 1, death penalty raw deters crimes. Matatakot raw mga kriminal to do crimes kung may death penalty. Pero wishful thinking lang yan. Studies worldwide consistently show no conclusive evidence that the death penalty is a more effective deterrent than life imprisonment. In fact, countries without death penalty often have lower crime rates than those countries with a death penalty. Myth number 2, the death penalty raw brings closure to victims' families. Pero the truth is that many victims' families report that execution did not heal their emotional pain. Number 3 myth says that our justice system raw never makes mistakes. Globally, hundreds of death row inmates have been exonerated after new evidence emerged. Errors happen, and the death penalty makes it a fatal mistake. Sa Pilipinas pa kaya, where our justice system faces challenges with corruption and case backlogs? As a psychiatrist, clinical psychologist, and psychotherapist, I am 100% against the death penalty. From my professional perspective as a mental health professional and advocate, the death penalty fundamentally misunderstands criminal behavior. Maraming studies show that many violent criminals suffer from mental disorders, traumatic backgrounds, substance abuse issues, or brain abnormalities. For example, a significant percentage of violent offenders have histories of severe childhood trauma, traumatic brain injuries, intellectual disabilities, or serious mental illnesses that were never properly treated. And as I sometimes tell my students, behind every criminal act is a human story that's been complicated by emotional pain. As a mental health professional, I took an oath to ethically first do no harm. How then can I, as a mental health professional and medical professional, support the death penalty when my profession is dedicated to preserving life rather than ending it? So, what's the more acceptable and psychologically sound alternative? Better than imposing death penalty, which is punitive justice, is this. It's called restorative justice, or in Filipino, hustisyang nakapagpapagaling. This restorative justice can be implemented by imposing life imprisonment with a strong focus on rehabilitation and mental health services. This means that the correctional facility should have a robust program that includes three things: a rehabilitation program that includes psychiatric treatment and intensive psychotherapy to address trauma, anger management, addiction, and underlying personality issues. Number two, restorative justice practices that allow offenders to understand the harm that they've caused and to take responsibility for what they did and to potentially make amends. This can be incredibly healing for both victims and offenders. And number three is education and vocational skills training para may pag-asa at bagong simula. So, ano bang pwede natin gawin? Here are 4 practical steps you can do. Number 1, educate yourself and others about the difference between restorative justice and punitive justice. Number 2, push for strong mental health programs in our correctional facilities that include rehabilitation, psychiatric treatment, and intensive psychotherapy. Number 3, volunteer with organizations and advocacy groups like Caritas Philippines that focus on the rehabilitation and reintegration of criminal offenders. Remember, the measure of our justice system isn't how harshly we punish, but how effectively we heal and protect. To wrap up, from a psychiatric and clinical psychological lens, it is a resounding no for me. The death penalty is a simplistic answer to the complex problem of heinous crimes. Imposing the death penalty distracts us from addressing the real root causes of crimes, such as extreme poverty, lack of education, systemic injustices, and untreated mental health conditions. The path forward is one of restorative justice, rehabilitation, and mental health care. We need a justice system that actually heals both victims and offenders. The death penalty is not a solution to violence. The death penalty is actually a form of violence that makes Filipinos normalize violent acts. Because true justice should never be about revenge and punishment, but about healing and restoration. Until our next video, mga ka-psycho, God bless you and take care of your mental health.